Well, hello, my friends. How are y'all doing? Happy Sunday to everybody. Thank you all for being here. Happy Palm Sunday. It's hard to believe next Sunday will be Easter. How crazy the time this year is just flying by, but it is what it is. So, happy Palm Sunday to everyone and welcome. Thank you all for being here. Let's see, we're going to put this up so that we can welcome everybody. And it is Autism Awareness Month. So there we go to that. All righty. Let's see who we got in chat here with us today. Hello to everybody. Miss Janice says, hello, Lolly mods in chat. I'm out with my grandkids. Have a great live. Miss Janice, if you hear this, hello to you. And I hope you and your grandkids had a wonderful day. Hi, Miss Kathy. Hi, Magic Star. Good to have you. Let's see, Miss Rhonda. Hello. Hey, TJ. Let's see who else we got in here. Panda Bear's mom. Hello to you. I'm too honest for this. Hello. Glad to have you. Roxy R. Hello. Hi, Kelly Holcomb. Looky here, Miss Rhonda. How sweet of you, Miss Rhonda. Thank you so much for that. We got to give you a happy dance. Thank you for that, Miss Rhonda. I appreciate you. Hello, Brown Eyed Girls. How you doing? Let's see, we got Kelly. Wait, what? We got Rocky Top. Hello. Welcome. Mimi Jean. Good to have you. Hope you are well, Mimi. Let's see who else we got up in here. I'm glad to have you here. I'm too honest. Terry, how are you? Glad you're here with us. Holly S. Welcome. Glad you're here. Monica Fox. I'm too honest. Looky here. We got gifted 5 memberships, guys. If you were gifted a membership, please tell I'm too honest. Thank you for this because that is a precious gift. Thank you so much for that. And welcome to the South, everybody.
Welcome to the South. We break that good stuff out. We got enough to go around. Can I get it right and get down? Welcome to the South.
Welcome and thank you for that. I'm too honest. Super sweet. Okay, we got anybody else sneaking up in here with us? Let's see. I guess that's it. If I missed you, I hope I didn't. But welcome, everybody. Thank y'all for being here. Always remember this month is Autism Awareness Month. With us covering the Sebastian Rogers case, we are doing this in his honor. Well, welcome. Today we're going to talk about Summer Wells. We will probably have a lower crowd. Most everybody is hardcore on Sebastian, but I don't want Summer to get lost. And that seems to be what's going on until just recently. There's been a little bit of an uptick, and I feel bad because I haven't covered her case enough. But we're going to start at the very beginning part, almost to the beginning. Day one, the things that happened, just like Sebastian, she had a great day out with her family, basically her mother, her grandmother, and a family friend. Chris McDonough with the interview room. He takes Candace, he meets her, they go to the swimming hole where they went that day, and she talks about the day of. So I thought that would be a great place for anyone who is new to the case that is not sure about all the details. We'll hear the mother's account. And then a part two we'll do when they get to the house and the mother walks through what happened when they got home. But I thought that would be a good way to start and get things. Hi, Sabrina. Glad to have you here, girl. And that'll kind of get everybody kind of caught up on what the mother's accounts were for the day. I'm not quite sure that I agree with everything, and we'll talk about it as it goes along, and I'll give you my opinions on it. I started on Summer's case following it. I guess it was about week 2. So pretty much from the first. Yes, Terry. Is that not the saddest? Guys, if you have not heard, in Idaho, there was a boy. He had a lot of disabilities to him, and he was shot by the cops and killed. Prayers for his family, definitely. I do believe it's very obvious to tell if a child has some disabilities to them. If there's issues there, it's quite apparent on most kids. And if it's as apparent as what his seemed to be, I do not believe they should use lethal force at all. I believe that is wrong. Just my opinion. Doesn't matter, but that's definitely how I feel. But yes, Terry. And I was following this morning. I had a little bit of a scare, guys, because I stayed home from church today because my oldest granddaughter has strep, we believe. She's running a high fever. Her throat hurts. Mom sings in the choir. Well, today was the church's choir cantata, their Easter cantata. And so Mom had to be there. Dad's out of town at work, and Lolly is the one home with them. So I stayed home, and I got a little pop-up on my phone. JLR was covering a house explosion in Austin, Texas. And I was like, oh my gosh. And my brother lives there. And so I'm trying to get in touch with him. He works at a facility for troubled youth boys, and he works the night shift, and he covers everything at night. And so he was asleep, and I knew he was asleep, but not getting a message back from him right away was making me very nervous. He just moved. I don't have his new address yet, so I wasn't sure if that was close to him or what, but there was a house that had a car in the driveway that exploded. The 2-story is flat. The explosion that went out, half of the house next to him is damaged and part of it collapsed. There were 24 homes in that area that garage doors were down, windows were busted out, stuff got stuck through their roofs, that kind of thing. Wow, I was a little nervous, so he finally sent me a message. He slept. He said he didn't hear nothing, but people around all over Austin said it felt like an earthquake. And he said that his best friend he stays with, she was telling him that it felt like an earthquake at their house. And they were about almost 30 miles from it on the south side. So he's okay. Yeah. Yes, TJ. All electric, no gas. Oh, so anyways, but yeah, it's been a little shaky morning this morning for me, but hearing from him, it made me feel better. It's just him and I left. Our sister has passed, our mother, our father, they've all passed, our grandparents, aunt and uncles. We have one uncle and some cousins. So anyways, we hold on to each other pretty good. But little Summer Moon Utah Wells was 5 years old on June the 15th of 2021 when she went missing. She lived at home in Tennessee on top of a hill, very steep terrain, with her mother, her dad, and her three brothers. They lived a very simple life out in the country, just little country kids. And as things developed in her case, we got to see a whole new look into her life and the life of those boys. And it wasn't the best life, I don't believe. Lots of speculations, lots of drugs involved, lots of drinking. It was a very tumultuous atmosphere for her and her brothers. Lots of CPS involvement. Matter of fact, the day before she went missing, CPS was at their home. It was weeks later that her brothers, all three, were taken away and put into foster care. The parents were given the option to clean up, fix their home, clean themselves up, take classes, and report back to the judge. They had their dates set to go back to the judge. They went back several times. In the end, they lost complete custody of their boy. I have heard behind the scenes from people that know the boys are doing wonderful. They were behind when they first started. They've gotten caught up. They've had tutoring. They've had counseling. They have had a routine in a home with structure and balance. They're thriving. They're playing sports. They have been doing oh so good. At one point, the mother had figured out where they were, this family, to protect those boys, up and moved. And so I really think the boys actually have a chance in life, a very good chance to become productive young men. The parents, they go to a church and they're very into this church, but at the same time, their drug use and their alcohol abuse continued for a long time. The father seems to have a habit of these binges where he's gone anywhere from days to, yes, Alicia, they did. Adopted, yes. And they're doing so good from what I have been told. And the dad would leave from anywhere from days to weeks. He would go to Nashville where there were available women and plenty of substances while mom stayed at home with those kids and no money. It was a life, like I said, that was very it was not a great home life, but I will say this. I do not believe, in my opinion, I don't believe those kids realized that there was any different kind of life out there. They they seemed happy. Every picture and video seemed like they were always going and doing things, a lot of things that didn't cost money, whether they were going hiking or to the fishing hole to, or the swimming hole to swim, or the waterfall to play in the water. They were always doing things. But at the end of the day, there was a better way for them to live. And we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to see a bunch of that in this interview. You're going to start realizing that background story and that way of life. Yes, Alicia, I was so glad to hear that because I was nervous for them. I was really nervous for them. Those kids loved their parents. They loved their parents. Their parents are the only thing they had. You know, they did not know any type of different love. They only knew what they had. But the boys have gotten to see a different way of life. And that is a good thing. In the beginning, the sheriff said there was not a drug problem in the area where they lived. Actually, the main road through there is known as the Oxy Highway. Drugs are huge in that area. You have to remember, these are out in the hollows, out in the mountains of Tennessee. Moonshiner stills are probably still sitting out in them woods. Everybody left these people alone. They were scared of this area. Police hardly ever came out there. And when they did not go alone. They had several come with them to back them up. It was a place where it's very spread out, but yet everybody pretty much knew everybody out there. The place where she lived was on top of a hill, a mountain almost, but it was a hill. It's not an easy access to get up to their house. For a stranger to come in and take this little girl almost from day one was completely ruled out. Because people, you just wouldn't go up a driveway or a trail where you couldn't see what you were going to. They owned massive amounts of dogs. Tons of dogs always there. She loved those dogs. Those dogs followed her. Those dogs barked. They made noises. But yet that day, the dogs were nowhere to be seen. Yes, matter of fact, Brown Eyed Girl, I just watched a tiny bit this morning. Candace went live and her and Don were driving somewhere in Virginia. He was videoing. You could hear them both talk. So they were together. I don't know if at one time they were separated. I couldn't tell you. This is why Ronnie and company did nothing in this case. I tell you, I made the comment to y'all before. There is a picture out there of a sheriff officer handing the mother of the missing child a bottle of whiskey. You just don't do those things. Now, as we go on through this case, today we're just going to hear from the mother as Chris McDonough basically interviews her, asks her questions, and she's showing him things. As we go on, you'll hear about the neighbors that are entwined into this story. But I thought to get a good start for today for anyone who is not up to date happenings the day she went missing. This would be a good place to start. So let's get going. I'm going to play it. I will pause it just to make some commentation throughout it a little bit here and there. I'm going to put the copyright disclaimer because we will be using fair use on this. And I will be watching y'all in chat. So that way, if you have questions, we will answer those. So here we go. And thank goodness for Chris McDonough in the interview room. I forwarded it to the place they start to show the video. He will be commentating as well throughout this video. I'm going to make this large so everybody can see good. And here we go.
And let's do a quick, let's run it down to where we were just at. Let it run for a couple of minutes here. And then I'll tell you when to stop.
Some woman made this shirt for me. I'm not sure exactly what her name is.
And tell me the significance of this shirt. Why is it so important?
Because my daughter loved Paw Patrol.
Okay. Yeah, she did Paw Patrol. What else? Princesses.
Ponies, and she loved Frozen. Then she started with they're little animals, but I'm not sure what they are. And they got
Let's stop it right there. Does anybody know what? Does anybody know what those little animals are? Right, put it in the chat here. If these little animals that have really big eyes, I've heard different things. Let's see here. All right, keep playing it. And if somebody knows, LOL dolls. Okay, I see a couple of those. Okay, go ahead, Joe.
I remember what the name of them are. I got a couple on my window.
Are they like little? They got like the big eyes, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Tiny beanie
eyes,
Yeah.
bracelets and
LOL
she's
pets.
just a
Thanks for
round
showing.
girl.
Yeah. So let's take me back to that day when y'all were here swimming. Okay.
Currently, they are at the horse pond at Warriors Park in Rogersville, Tennessee. There is a horse facility over to the side, and they call it the pond. The horses would go and drink from it when they were out riding and stuff, but it leads into a lake.
Okay. You okay with that? Okay. So let's walk me down. Is this where you park?
Yeah, this is where I park. I park here all the time.
All the time. And now, do you come here a lot?
I used to come here a lot. Yeah.
And do you bring the kids here?
I bring the
Beanie
kids here
Boos.
all the time, and they either
Thank
fish
you,
or swim,
Joe.
Okay.
whichever.
Right.
Monkey Pops.
There's nobody down here hardly.
Right.
Okay, let's
it's away
stop for a second.
I don't like.
And thank you, everybody, for jumping in there. But this is a good example of how investigations go. Okay. We probably just had 5 or 6 examples of what she could be talking about. Okay. And we just got another one, Little Pet Shop. Okay.
Now, guys, I'm not speeding up the speed because of the way Candace talks. It's hard to understand her sometimes. So this is at normal speed. And she's from the country. She talks a little slower and has a little bit of an accent to her.
So this is why it's really good. True crime community, we kind of keep an open mind because we don't know. Okay? She doesn't remember what they were, but I'll show you some of them tomorrow in the video. Okay? And so let's see, if it was speculation or, guarantee here. So keep going, Dale. And thank you
like
for
to
your
be-
answers.
have the kids around a bunch of other kids because of all the sickness and stuff that's been going around,
Yeah.
different kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this was more secluded, private kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes
I'm
sense.
more of a quiet kind of person. I don't like to be in a big crowd.
Yeah.
I tend to stick to myself and my family, and that's it.
And when you guys got here, who was with you? There's a lot of rumors
My
about.
mother was with me.
Yep.
And my daughter.
Yep.
Summer, and Hunter was with us.
Okay. Now, tell me about the dynamics of what everybody was doing. Who was doing what when you first got here? What happened?
I got out of the car first, and then I opened the back door because my mom's got a double door on her truck.
Right.
So I opened the back door and I let her and Hunter out.
Okay.
And Summer's first thing is to run to the water, of course.
Right.
I was like, Summer, just wait. Let me get my stuff, and I'll walk over there with you. And she waited for me, and I don't know. Hunter went off into the woods somewhere. I don't know.
Now, where was Summer sitting?
She was sitting in the middle seat.
Okay.
Hunter was sitting on the end.
Okay.
And my mom said, hold on a minute. So we waited for my mom to get out.
Okay.
And Hunter, he just done disappeared into the woods. I don't know where he went.
Okay. Okay.
And me and my mom and Summer walked over there. And we were just letting Summer play. And then Hunter eventually come back out of the woods wherever he was.
Okay.
And
so let's walk over there. Show me. And I'll just follow you, okay?
No.
So I'll follow you on which direction. And
everything's slow motion now.
I know.
Okay, let's stop right there.
So
Did you guys hear that? Did you hear what she just said? Everything is in slow motion now. Okay. Now that tells, and maybe there's a couple of psychologists out there that deal with traumatic incidents in people. That to me, when I heard that, as my experience told me, okay, there's more going on here. Okay. There's more going on here. And so I don't know what those dynamics mean. Okay, at this point, I don't think any of us do. Right. And Maureen says PTSD. Yeah. So I don't know if she's, been battling addiction problems, struggling as, a woman who is involved in, stuck in an abusive scenario. I don't know if this is trauma that she is, processing in relationship to Summer, and or something, somebody around the environment may or may not have done. I don't know those dynamics right now. What I know going down this path here is she is indicating to all of us there's a lot going on here. Okay. There's a lot going on here. Okay.
For those of you who do not know, Chris McDonough is a retired detective. He has tremendous experience. He has great knowledge and has done an amazing job with this.
And she'll keep going, Dill.
So which direction does Hunter go?
He went that way.
He went that way. Now, was he in a bathing suit?
No, I think he just had his shorts and his shirt on.
Okay. And Summer, was she in her bathing suit?
Yes.
And how did she get in her bathing suit? Or...
I actually put her bathing suit on before we left home because it was really hot out that day.
Okay.
So it was just something small and thin, not so hot.
Okay. Okay.
Because I know how she gets too hot.
Okay. And what was the temperature that day? Give me an idea.
Are we in the 80s?
Okay. So it's Tennessee warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it is now.
And are you an air conditioned person, or in your mom's truck was the AC on or
I
off?
don't like AC.
Okay. Okay. So what happened? Where do you guys go, and where's Summer going here?
We all walked down this path, me, my mom, and Summer.
All right. So all three of you together.
Yeah.
Now, how does Mom's knee handle this hill here?
Well, she uses her cane, so it's a little bit easier, and she'll hold on to my shoulder so
Okay.
she doesn't fall or nothing.
So you're kind of escorting her down here.
Yeah.
And is Summer ahead of you or behind
She's
you?
right here in front of me.
Okay. So walk me through that.
Oh, we're just walking down here. I mean, usually, like I said, we go slow because of my mom's knee.
Okay.
Myself.
Okay.
I was just standing here at the end. Well, the water's up a lot further than it usually is. Usually it's down. You can usually see all that wood sticking up all the water.
Okay, so let's stop there for a minute. Stop there.
And
So that is a memory of the event that just came back to her immediately, because it was a nondescript idea that says, and she inserted it in the conversation, that the water was lower and you could see the branches a little bit higher than they are at that time. Okay. So I think she's reliving, that moment. And in her mind, based on what she just gave us, an indication of, her mind has slowed down a little bit more. And we see a shift in her when, as she's talking, and this is just how she is. This is her demeanor. Okay. And it helped me understand a little bit more about her by being across from her. But her demeanor really is, I'm sure she can go 150, 0 to 60 pretty quickly, like all of us can. Okay. But for Candace, her demeanor, it was quickly up here, and then she slows down. Okay. She slows down. Okay. Keep going.
and what time do you get here about? Do you remember?
I couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you. Time is. I don't keep track of time.
No, I understand.
I mean, I get up in the morning, I do my thing with the kids, and then we go to bed.
Okay.
Okay, that has been consistent throughout the whole 3.5 years time with them. And it's not been just them throughout this process, others that live out there. They didn't pay attention to the clock. They had things they did. There was no time frames they had to stay with. And so throughout the day, all these times are just mostly a guess.
Okay.
I can't even tell you. I know I went to the hospital at 8, took my mom, dropped her off, and I was sitting there, and Hunter called me. I said I was sitting at the hospital in the parking lot waiting on my mom to get done. And he said, well, why don't y'all come over? I said, well, as long as your mom says it's okay. And I guess he woke her up or said something to her. And he said, yeah, she said it's fine for a little bit. Because I guess his grandma was coming over, so she don't like her. I don't like her either.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, seems like you guys have had a falling out. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And,
It was stupid part on out, really, honestly.
what was it over?
Well, I don't know if it was her husband or Hunter. I'm just going to say Hunter's daddy. Come out with all these stuff and we're down here. And they couldn't find a place to stay or whatever. Well, I don't really remember what this guy's name was. I know he's a Mexican, I think. And she
that Jose guy?
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, she wanted him to stay. And she was also staying at mine.
Okay.
So I said, if you're going to be with them, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. That's y'all's deal. And I don't know, they did whatever they did because I didn't really pay attention to them. I just hung out with the kids and my mom. And then one day he just goes, oh, I like chicks with dicks. Mm-hmm. After him and her did whatever. And she got all pissed off and just said, come on, take me and my kids.
I should have bleeped that. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. So I don't even know what really happened.
Okay.
She just went off the handle. And ever since that, I don't know, she's just been hateful towards me. I don't know.
Okay, Jose is a whole different story that plays into this leading up to her disappearance. And basically, from what we have learned, Hunter's mother liked Jose. Jose was staying with Candace. And Jose's mother found out he had slept with Candace, allegedly. And so they don't like each other anymore, but Hunter still talked to Candace. It's a very weird dynamic.
I don't get it. I really wish I could understand it.
Okay.
And she stuck me with that guy. And then my husband got home. He's like, well, who's this guy, you know? And I'm like, Allie left him here, abandoned him here. I was like, he ain't got no place to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then my mom took him after my husband and him got into a little squirrel. My mom took him, I believe it was to North Carolina to some chick's house. And then that was the end of him. I never heard from him again.
And that, so your mom drove him up there?
Yeah, my mom did.
Okay.
And I
Okay,
never
let's
heard from
stop
the guy
there.
again.
What part of North?
So we now have confirmation that there was, you know, a gentleman by the name of Jose on the property, and that apparently Allie introduces him into the scenario. And, you know, who knows what's going on there, but I'm sure, you know, the TBI and everybody will figure that piece of that puzzle out. And guys, remember, this is why there's so many moving parts. You know, you've got to sort through all of that to, you know, to get refocused on just to find Summer. Okay.
He is 100% correct. We thought Sebastian's case was crazy with different players. It is nothing compared to the players surrounding Summer Wells. It's crazy. Hello to everybody coming in. Thank you all for being here. Let's listen some more.
Because there's so many what ifs. You know, what if this guy is now involved? So I found it interesting that Grandma takes him to North Carolina and dumps him off at a house up there and utilizes her truck to do that. Okay. I don't know who this guy was. It sounds like Dawn had a problem with it. It sounds like Candace was stuck in the middle and said, you know, hey, you know, get this guy out of here. I'm not sure exactly how Grandma volunteers to take him to North Carolina and drop him off at some house up there. So I think that's something obviously we've got to keep up on in the interview room. Okay, keep going, Dale. Thank you.
North Carolina, do you know?
I don't even know.
Okay. What kind of vehicle did he have, if any?
He didn't have no vehicle.
Okay. But your mom took him
My
up?
mom took him in her truck.
Got it. Straight up. Okay. Then, so you're down here, and all of a sudden now, Summer is doing what?
Summer's just playing in the water right here.
Okay.
I'm just standing right here. Well, the flowers that died that were there on that.
Oh, so there were a bunch of flowers
There was
here?
a bunch of flowers right here, yeah, on this little petal. I don't know what. I guess they're all died now, but.
Okay. And where's Grandma?
Mom's standing right here.
Okay.
And I'm over here close to the edge just because Summer's in the water.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Sure.
my thing.
Okay.
And she's just playing, you know, like a normal kid would play in the water. And then Hunter came from wherever he was and come down here and we're standing here. I don't want to get all wet, but
Yeah.
he was like standing here and Summer was out a little bit further there, pretty far apart from like me and your wife is.
Okay. Is that the TikTok video you took?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see how far they were apart.
Yeah, I can see it. Right.
And with him sitting there saying that she fell on a rock, there's no rock. Where do you see a rock?
Right. Yeah, the only rocks I saw were right over here.
And
Yeah,
let's
and
stop
then
that,
I
Dale.
Out there.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, when I was there, I looked even before she got there. I was actually there the day before, and I looked around for those rocks, and there aren't very many rocks over there. And in this area where we were, I don't see any type of you know, rocks like that where she would have slipped. You know, now certainly could they be under that water? Yeah, it's possible. But you know, I didn't see them personally. There were some down on the other side. You know, something going on with that one in of itself. Okay, so much. Go ahead.
They're way over there, and I'm right here.
Okay. So this is where she is, though.
Yeah, this is where she is right here.
Okay. And how is she? What's her behavior?
jumping around, splashing, having a good
Just summer.
time, just like summer would always do.
Okay.
I mean, that's how all my kids are.
Okay.
They just splash around and have a good time.
Does she go underwater at any time that you see?
Oh, she just puts her head in, but sticks it right back up. I mean, it was only up to here
So
at the time.
where did this idea of under the water, where's that come from? Okay.
That just blew my mind when I heard that. I was like, she didn't even go into, because when she was playing in the water, I was literally taking the TikTok video just to watch, and I did different things because that's how TikTok is. You can do different things with them.
Right.
And I was just taking TikTok video, and he come up out of there somewhere, and I was like, just splashed around, and then he threw up gang signs.
Do you know them?
No, I have no idea who that is.
Okay.
And then he started throwing up gang signs, and I'm like, so I moved it back away from him as quick as I could, and I was videoing them flowers, and then back at Summer again real quick. And he decided to water right there, and he went like this with the water a couple times. I told him, please stop that. She don't like to be splashed.
Okay.
And so he quit, got out, and I said, come on, son. Oh, we got to go get Grandma's prescription, and we just got back in the truck and left.
The tea thing, right? And there's can over there and stuff. Now, I asked Hunter,
When
and
we come down
tell me
here,
the
this
story
whole
on
place was littered in trash.
okay,
It was all trash down here. Like, them teas were all over through there, all through everywhere.
okay,
There was flowers that my mom wanted to pick from here, and I said, Mom, you better not do that. It's a state park.
okay,
I'm not getting caught for that.
okay.
So let's stop right there for a minute. So you're going to hear her tomorrow talk about those polygraph tests. So everybody just kind of slow down for a moment because you're going to hear it right from her. And we'll see, we'll see how that unfolds. But there is definitely contention here between Allie and Candace. Okay? And Hunter, I can't say right now, what his motivations could be. I have my theories. I have my ideas. They're up on the board here. But I don't want to say, just yet, because I think we still need more information, as we think through this process right now. So I feel like she's got a little good flow. She's got a good flow going here, where, she's not having to pause, think, and kind of, not be spontaneous. I'm feeling that she's feeling comfortable, and that, some of the things she's telling us are truthful, and so, and then other things, I'll reserve judgment on. But right now, what I'm hearing her say, I don't have any evidence that points that she's not, laying it out there. You know what I mean? She has, some long gaps. She's rethinking, she's processing, but you're going to see, I'm going to hit her with a couple of very interesting, questions. And then you see a demeanor change. But what I saw being so close to her, there was an emotional response as well. And, that can go either way, right? I mean, this is not a controlled environment where, you can lean over and talk to people a bit more intimately. I mean, here we've got the water, we've got the wind, we got a lot of moving dynamics or moving parts here. But I wanted her to feel comfortable, in which she did, and, kind of laying it out. So keep moving.
Walked on back to the truck, but I don't know where that iced tea coming from. I know that I did buy an iced tea from the smoke shop in town, but I bought that iced tea from my mother.
Okay.
And if she was here today, she would tell you that.
Right.
And the vapes that I bought were nicotine vapes from the hippie house.
Next door.
Right, next door.
Okay.
Well, no, they're kind of, one's further down by the mall. The smoke shop's further down by the mall where I got the iced tea. And the hippie house is just right over here before you cross over the bridge.
Got it. Okay. So the smoke shop where you bought the
we went to the hospital,
right,
and picked up my mom,
right,
and then we stopped at the smoke shop and I got Mom that twisted tea that she wanted. And then I stopped at the hippie house and got me some smoked nicotine vapes. Is what I got.
Okay. What flavor?
I think they were Skittles.
Okay.
Because that's kind of like.
Wait, do they have like a different taste
They
flavor?
actually taste like Skittles.
Okay.
It's the only kind I'll buy.
Okay.
And then we left from there, and we went straight down to Walgreens and went to the drive-thru. But after we were done at the hippie house, I think we bought 3 of them. I think, to believe. And I set them right there. And he asked for one. I said, no, you can't have them.
Did he take one?
I don't know.
Okay.
Honest God, I don't know.
Okay.
But then we went to the Walgreens and dropped off Mom's prescription. I said, well, if we got to wait 30 minutes, why don't we just bring Summer down here and let her play for a little bit?
Okay.
And that's what we did.
Okay.
I mean, there was nothing. I honestly didn't see him drink nothing down here. I don't know what he's talking about. I really don't.
All right. So it's your word against his, basically.
Pretty much.
Okay. On this scenario right
Yes.
here. Okay. So from here, where do you
Okay,
guys
stop. Okay, there you heard it. So we've got he said, she said on both sides of the coin. Okay. One of the disastrous concepts in an investigation, right? Those poor guys and gals who are working so diligently on this, I'm sure, have a little bit more information relationship to sort through that as a whole. And before I forget, everybody, just real fast, I want to thank everybody for being here and supporting us here at the interview room. I was so grateful for your kindness and all the the consideration that's been coming in here tonight. I apologize. I haven't been able to acknowledge everybody right off the bat, but I appreciate you very, very much. And the super chats coming in. I want to keep this free flowing for her, and then tomorrow night, or tomorrow's video, you will see. Quite frankly, I think it's going to be a game changer for a lot of people. It was for me, and so we're going to see where that. But so Dylan, let's keep moving on this. If you're just joining us, thank you. Please
Okay,
subscribe.
is that the Walgreens right down at the edge here?
Right straight across.
It's the one that I showed the other day that it's right down here?
Yeah, when we turned to come down here,
Yeah.
it's right there on the corner.
Okay, and you get Mom's prescription.
Yep.
Then what happens?
Then I told Mom, I said, why don't we get a Sonic?
Okay.
Because it's hot out.
Right.
So we drove in there, got a Sonic.
Right across the street.
Yep, right across the street.
Okay.
And then we left from there, and I went up Moreland Drive because I had to pick up a few things. I was in the store for maybe 5 minutes.
Okay.
Grabbed the milk and some cheese, and I don't remember what else I bought.
Okay. And that's the food less?
No,
Or
priceless.
priceless. Okay. All right.
And then I was like, Hunter, you're not coming to the house. I'm sorry to tell you, but you're going back to your house.
Okay.
And I took him back to his house and dropped him off and left. And Summer was still awake when I left his house.
Okay. Okay.
And Allie did never walk to the truck and try to talk to me or something.
Okay.
I tried to get her to come over and talk to me, but she wouldn't.
Okay. Where does from here, when you left here, okay, and you went to Sonic, like you mentioned, what flavors do you buy? Do you remember?
I think I got me and Mom a grape.
Mm-hmm. Is that your favorite?
Not my mom.
Is that your
Summer got a
favorite?
grape. That's my favorite. I don't remember what Mom got. She got it's like a cool water or something like that.
Okay.
And then Hunter, I think, wanted the blue one. I think.
Okay. Is that the slushy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Did you buy food?
Nope.
Just the slushies.
Just the slushies.
Okay. Then what happened?
And then we left from there, went to Priceless, and I wasn't even in there 5 minutes.
Okay.
Grabbed my milk, come right back out the door, and he was sitting there playing on TikTok like he always does.
Okay.
I mean, and then for him to sit there and say that he doesn't even make TikToks, I have on my phone personally, I can show you where he's made TikToks.
I hope you've given it to the officials, right?
No, actually, it's still on my phone. I haven't had a chance because I was going to talk to them Tuesday when I went back to town.
Okay.
I got some business I got to take care of.
Got it. Roger that. So from there, you go back to Hunter's house.
I dropped him off.
Explain the milk. The picture of
The note, it was sitting right there beside Summer.
okay.
Because when I handed it to Hunter in the car, he was on the outside.
Oh.
I said, Hunter, put this on the other side of Summer. Just set it over there.
Okay.
And she was wide awake sitting up.
Okay.
Like, she didn't go to sleep until after we left town.
Did she change clothes?
Yeah, I changed the clothes because when I have the windows down, it could be 100 degrees. I'll have all the windows up. Roll up the window, mommy, I'm cold. And she not be cold, but I still do it.
Is that part of Summer's
That's
personality?
just Summer.
Tell me about Summer.
Tell you about
I want to know about Summer.
She's a happy little girl.
Okay.
She's the best little girl anybody
Okay,
could
let's
imagine.
stop.
Just
Stop.
like, go on.
Where Summer changed clothes has become a debate during this case. Hunter says house. Candace, no, they did not go in the house. She was cold. Candace happened to have a velour jogging suit in the truck that she had bought at a garage sale for Summer's school outfit. School starts in August. Why they would put that baby girl in a velour jogging suit, I have no clue. But this day it was up in the 80s. They don't run the air conditioner in the car. On the way home, she was in that velour jogging suit. As well, we've learned Hunter was the one drinking the twisted tea, and the vapes that she had gotten had THC in them. And so there's lots of versions of the story we're hearing right now. And as time went on, we learned more and more of the things. But I want y'all to see the mother, the spot, the place where she's at. And let me see it. I'm trying to find that video of her swimming that day. And I did see, hello, everybody coming in. Hey, Brat, my friend, how you doing? Good to see you. Hope you are doing good. To find that video, pull it up. It does make your head hurt, Brandon. It sure does. The twist and the turns to this case are unreal. Like I said, the players involved, the people's names that get brought up, you have to have a complete large binder full of your notes. And it is completely insane. I'm going to play this. It is a TikTok video that got put out. Hang on, I'm going to share this real quick. Make sure it switches over. And here we go. This is the video that we're going to pull up here. The day they were at the pond, the horse pond where she's standing right now. And that's little Summer right there.
5-year-old Summer Wells missing since June 15th, 2021.
And that
from
is
Hawkins County,
Hunter.
Tennessee. This is a video that was taken the day Summer disappeared of her and a teenage boy swimming in a nearby pond or swimming hole. Now, numerous reports or rumors that I have read is that Summer's mother actually provided this young teenager with alcohol during this time or a time before. And there's a lot of speculation on if he has any means of accusing this teenager of doing anything. I am simply putting this video as further evidence or further facts to follow along with the Summer Wells case. Now, some of the many theories that I have heard so far is that it was an abduction, the parents had something to do with it, but an interesting one is that it was a dry drowning or a drowning incident. So because of this video taken the day she went missing, there's speculation that maybe something happened while she was swimming. Maybe they went home and there was a drowning incident or a dry drowning incident. My only question is, What does this video have to do with her disappearance? And if it was an accidental drowning or a dry drowning, why not reported?
All right. Okay. So that is the video her mother put on TikTok that day. So sweet little Summer, playing, having a good time, oblivious to anything in the world around her that was bad. And that was Hunter, the 15-year-old friend of the family. Have it that Candace had been sleeping with him. Candace was giving him alcohol and allowing him to smoke weed with her. He threw up the sign, the gang signs. We later learned he got heavy deep into that gang. So, anyways, here we go. We're going to listen to some more of this. Here we go, guys.
Okay, guys, so this is important here, where what I've done here is I've personalized her baby. Okay? And I want you to pay very close attention to how not only she responds, but how she starts.
Holly, I do not believe Hunter did anything to Summer. I just don't. I think he was a 15-year-old boy who had a grown woman that was interested in him, and he was taking advantage of it. I do think that Hunter threw up the little finger sign. It's a gang sign. And in that video we just watched. But I do not believe Hunter did anything to her. I have questioned whether Candace and him were doing something and Summer might have gotten hurt in the process. I don't know if that's it. I do know he was very messed up, his grandmother says, and his mother said he was very, very, very upset after he was dropped off. But I will say this. His home life was no better than Summer's home life. I will say that he was raised a certain way that I'm not sure he's told the whole truth either. So, I don't know, guys. It's one of those twist and turn to the story.
To her emotion, and I'm probably maybe 2.5 feet in front of her, okay? And I was paying very close attention to how, emotionally she was going to either deflect, internalize, or process is what some of the 3 ideas here. So watch her demeanor, and don't slam it either way, plus or minus. Just pay attention to her demeanor tonight, because tomorrow you may have a shift of thought process. Okay.
Yes, that is a true statement. You hear one thing from the parents, and the next day it turns into something completely different. I'm telling you guys, this case is insane. June, thank you for gifting a membership. Whoa, I missed it. There we go. If you were gifted that membership, please tell June thank you. That was so sweet and so kind. And Brat, yeah, I knew you had moved. And then we lost track of each other. But I'm glad to see you. I hope you're good and everything's going good for you. Thank you, Holly, so much for that.
Okay. So go ahead, Dill. Thank you. Keep playing.
So I don't really want to say her name.
Yeah, don't say her name.
But, happy-go-lucky. Nothing ever brings her down hardly.
Mm-hmm. Today's a tough day for you, I can tell.
Yeah, it's really tough. It's been tough lately.
Tell me about that.
Well, every time I look around, I see her face.
Okay.
I don't know what else I can tell you.
Well, help me understand when you went home. Tell me about those dynamics that day. Take me back to that day. Yeah, on the way home.
On the way home, well, we were just sitting there talking, me and Mom, about everything pretty much. Trees, flowers, rocks. Whatever Mom likes, pretty much we talk about. And I was like, what's Summer doing? She's like, oh, she fell asleep. I was like, oh, how's she sleeping? And when I look back, because I'm driving, I look back like this, she had her arms up like this, like her daddy sleeps all the time.
Okay.
So I wanted to catch that moment.
Okay.
It's just things I do.
Right.
And I was like, here, Mom, hurry up, take that picture. And then she accidentally hit the video record.
Okay.
Instead of the picture part.
Okay.
So like, did you catch it? She's like, no, I accidentally hit the video part.
That's what you get for handing grandma the camera.
Yeah. Well, I was driving though.
Okay.
And I was like, did you put her arm back down? She was like, yeah. I was like, dang. And then she got a picture of her, but by that time her arm was down. But her arm was up most of the time like this.
Right.
And we were like 2 minutes from the house when she took her arm down.
Okay.
And then when we got to the house, we unlocked the gate, went up, and I woke her up. She got up. Out of the car.
Okay, let's stop.
We went and grabbed the boys from the house and come help.
Yes. Guys, Hunter was involved in his sister's baby's daddy was involved in the Vice Lords. Yes. And the cornbread mafia got brought up during the Dr. Phil interview they did. And I will say this, with the Dr. Phil interview, for those of you who have seen it, prior to going live or to record that show, they had gotten a message that there was a sighting of Summer in Georgia. And they were waiting to get confirmation. Just before, as they were getting ready to walk onto the stage, they were told that it was not Summer. And if Candace had any hope at all or whatever, she did almost break down, they said. But yes, the Vice Lords is the gang that Hunter was in. Yes. Yeah, I'm with you, Brandon. I like my hot cornbread with some butter. Yeah. I believe the cornbread mafia was something of the old days. There's not so much a cornbread mafia as there is the Aryan Brotherhood, the Vice Lords, that kind of thing going on there. And I don't know why, but Candace reacted when they said cornbread mafia. But she reacted on the Dr. Phil word. Here we go. Let's listen some more.
Okay, that's a spontaneous statement. We pulled up. I got out, unlocked the gate because they have a chain across their end of their driveway. Okay, we pulled up. I got out, unbuckled her because she was seat belted in. Two ideas to consider. When we pulled up, there was that chain across the driveway.
Sorry, guys.
You literally
that
have to stop, get out. She has a key. You have to unchain it or unlock it, and then she threw it to the side, gave me a thumbs up, walked around, got in her car, and went up this driveway. And let me tell you something about this driveway. I had to put my truck in four-wheel drive to get up this thing. So that was one thing I will tell you right up front, that if there is a stranger abduction in this thing, and there was a car utilized, that guy or gal or person did not go up that driveway. I can assure you of that. Okay? But when I did get up there were a lot of dogs, and you're going to see that tomorrow in the video. Okay. And I'll let you count the dogs. I asked her how many dogs there were, and she started laughing. And she said, people just come by and drop the dogs off in the woods, and they all end up at her house. And so what was interesting, the other side of that is, as we were coming up the driveway, dogs were coming out of the woods. Okay. And anybody that knows my sweet Karen, she was like, there's a lot of dogs here. I'm pretty nervous because she only loves Buddy. She doesn't two-time anybody. So so her dog, her fur baby. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out because when you see tomorrow, as we go up the driveway, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, Dill, thank you. Keep moving.
Help us with the groceries.
Yep.
Because I always have them come help me do something.
And now, who was home when you got home?
My 3 sons.
Okay. And how old's your oldest?
He'll be 13 in September.
Okay. So was he babysitting?
Well, technically they weren't really. They were watching TV and sleeping at the same time.
Okay.
And I was just gonna run out for a second.
Hey,
and
stop.
We never even planned. I didn't even plan for Hunter to even be with.
Okay, that made no sense to me. They were watching TV and sleeping at the same time. So what I think, she was processing is she left them by themselves at the house. And so she thinks they were watching TV and she thinks they were sleeping. So I didn't want to qualify that in terms of when you left, were they sleeping or were they watching TV? So what she did is combine the two spontaneously. So we'll see how that's going to work out. But I think in her mind, she's telling it the way it is. I'm not seeing any indications right now of that couldn't be a possibility. What I do see though is Don apparently is not home. Okay. Maybe. Okay. I'm not 100% there. So just put that in the column. Go ahead, Dill. Sorry.
So that day.
Got it.
He just called and was like, "Want to come over for a second?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll come over for a second, but I gotta get right back to Mom." And that was all it was a quick second thing.
Got it.
He's like, "Mom, can I go with them?" I'm like, shaking my head like this, and I was like, "I don't care." So I'm just like, "Okay, whatever."
Okay.
I didn't even think nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? I always take them kids. Every time they call me and ask me, "Come get me," I always come get them because their mom don't do nothing with them.
Okay.
She just sits there.
That seems to be the difference between you and Allie. You guys have a difference in terms of what you say you do and what she says she does, right? There's always that. It seems to be a conflict.
Conflict somewhere.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead. Finish your
But
thought.
I'm always taking the kids like it was. I want to say like 3-4 months. She wanted her and the kids wanted to go up to. I want to call it Ducktown because that's where we're planning on going with Ducktown. And she's like, "No, I'm gonna sleep." Blah blah blah. We're like, "All right." I was like, "Well, can I go?" And Allie's like, "Yeah, go ahead." So we took him up to Ducktown with us and stuff, and brought him back, and everything was fine. I thought we were good friends, but I guess she's trying to get back at me. They're beyond me.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
And you know what? That's not for me, right? That's let the authorities figure that out. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's stop that.
I didn't really want to do.
The reason I said that is I want to qualify, an idea. Okay. Back a while ago in San Diego County, there were, I think, at least 24 to as many as what was believed 43 prostitutes who were murdered. And there was a guy who part of the, at that time, there was a San Diego County Homicide Task Force. And the suspect's sister had a van. Okay? And she would let him borrow the van. But here's where I'm going with this. Okay? as I was interviewing, some ladies of the evening, we'll be respectful here. Okay? I think a lot of folks don't realize, a lot of these gals and women don't choose to be out there at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. There's addiction problems. There's a lot of trauma in life, these gals know about, right? One of the last girls that I had contact with, and I was a vice detective from 1984 to 1986. And I interviewed a gal by the name of Elisa Ray Joy, who ended up being one of the body dump victims. And one of the girls told me at 2 o'clock in the morning about a guy who would drive around and would choke them. Okay. Well, why am I saying this? Because these were human beings. And a good investigator listens intently, not judging why they're in the condition that they're in. Because you will gain so many more nuggets of information about solving crimes and helping than saying, well, this person's a drug person or this person that. Okay. I've stood over the bodies of many, many people, a lot of gangbangers, a lot of, ladies of the evening, a lot of different personalities and grandmas and grandpas and whatever. Okay? A lot of classes of people. You don't get to choose your victim. Okay? And when I'm listening to her, okay, I asked her about her tattoos and a variety of other things off camera, and she was forthright with me. Okay? And by the way, she's got tattoos of her children on her leg, okay, of all of her children. Okay? This is just Candace. This is who she is. Okay? She knows she has struggles. She knows she has problems. She knows that her daughter's missing. Okay? I don't know, even to this day, what the authorities know that puts her in the circle or out of the circle yet. Okay. And so I think as we go through this, okay, we take our time. Okay, and when you see tomorrow, a lot more light bulbs will come on. Now, are there dynamics within the family that are, definitely problematic for the children? Most. You will see that tomorrow. Okay? But this is right on the heels. This conversation I'm having with her is right on the heels of the boys being taken out of the house. Okay? And so, and she makes a couple of comments, and you'll hear it. I feel like I've lost everything. My daughter, my boys, and then you'll see some of that emotion as well come forward as, we're talking up at her house.
Okay, I'm going to put in my 2 cents here. I honestly believe Candace loved her kids the best way she knew how. She had a very troubled upbringing herself. You can tell by the way she dresses that she doesn't take a lot of pride in herself, as far as she's always wearing these basketball type shorts and a shirt. She's always got a ball cap on. She has shaved her head in the past. And that's just who she is. I do believe, like I said, that she loved her kids the best way she knew how. She was in a marriage that was trouble, and she accepted that because that's what she knew. And as time goes on, you're going to see her mother is a lot like her. You'll see that. You'll see different sides to Candace. And I can't put all the blame on her childhood. But like I said with Katie Proudfoot, with her past in her childhood, people put up a defense mechanism within them just to continue through life. And that becomes a way of life for them. And I believe Candace is that way herself. But that's just my opinion. Here we go. And Chris McDonough has some amazing insight with his past history and the work that he has done and the things that he sees. He does a phenomenal job with this.
Now, I don't know what that means yet. Okay? I have some suspicions, certainly as we all do. Okay? But, you know, let's kind of keep an open mind as we go forward. Okay, Dale, thank you.
I do interview because I'm not trying to fight this,
Right.
or say something that I say. I'm not into all that game.
I'm here to help find your daughter.
I want to find Summer. I don't even care about anybody else's bullcrap. I want to find my daughter.
I do too. Okay.
That's all this matters to me.
I totally agree. I totally agree that I'm on that same page with you. All these people, I'm sure, are on the exact same page as well. I think you know that, right?
Yeah.
So walk me through when you got home.
Okay.
You unload the grocery. What exactly is going?
I bring my kids out, and we all unload the groceries, but we all go in my house first because we sort out my mom's groceries from her groceries.
Okay.
We always do.
Yeah.
And we did that, and Mom walked back across, and me and Summer were putting groceries away, and watching TV off and on, and just chilling with the boys, hanging out, and then we decided to do some laundry. Laundry, my kids, they got 80 pairs of pants, 80 pairs of each one of them.
Okay.
So, doing laundry at my house is like
A job, right?
It's a job.
Right. Do you have a bulldozer?
Yeah, thank you.
No.
Totally agree.
Sometimes I wish I did.
Okay.
That's
Got it. That's okay.
but
You're doing laundry.
doing laundry and stuff, and kids are all sitting there watching TV, chilling. And I stepped down. I noticed Mom was sitting on the step, and her step is like literally from here to that tree at my doorstep.
Okay.
I can literally walk over and be right there.
Okay.
And she's like looking around. I was like, "What's your problem?" She's like, "We got to get these plants transplanted into bigger pots."
Okay.
And she,
Now you're sitting on the front porch, or where you all?
no, I'm not.
where
sitting. I'm
Are you in
standing.
the house?
No. She's sitting on our camper step right there, and
Okay.
the flowers are here on both sides.
Okay.
And I'm just standing there. We're just talking. And she's like, "We got to get these transplanted." I was like, "All right, well." She goes, "Well, we know the boys ain't going to help because they don't like to do flowers."
Yeah. Well, boy does, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, "But I know someone that will." So I ran back in the house and I grabbed Summer. She was sitting in the kitchen playing with her little short guys with the big eyeballs.
Okay.
And I was like, "Summer, you want to play on flowers with me and Grandma?"
Is that the LOL thing?
She didn't really like LOL.
Okay.
She didn't care for those. No, I don't know what they're called. They're all kinds of different characters, like
Okay.
different animals, but they got big eyes.
Okay.
She liked them, so I bought them for her. And she was saying, like, "Summer, you want to do some flower planting and stuff?" She jumped up faster than anybody I've seen jump up. She's like, "Pretty flowers?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go over to Grandma's and plant flowers." Transplant is all we did. And so we did that, and
Okay, I'm going to answer questions here. Alicia said that for those who are thinking, Candace did not own a live summer. Mimi Jean said, "Who did then?" I agree with Alicia. I do not think Candace did. Why I think that? We've learned later on that Dawn has told Cher, she continued to ask him about him being home that day. He finally confessed and said, okay, I was home. What does it matter? Dawn was home that day. I believe it's been proven Candace was seen about 4:30 at a convenience store. She went into the restroom and was in there for quite a while. When she came back, I honestly believe in my heart Dawn had Summer passed off and taken out. I honestly think Dawn, the father, owed money for drugs, and he also brought back with him, not long before Summer went missing, one of the girls from the place he goes to. The police told him he owed money for a drug debt, and his daughter was the payment. Don himself said, I honestly believe them. He went on a drinking binge because he believed them, he said. If he knew he didn't, he wouldn't have believed them. That is what makes me think that he knew. He says his words, he knew Summer's days were limited. He knew she was going to leave. I think Candace found things out when she was gone and realized it. But I believe Candace is guilty for not saying a word. And that's just my opinion, because none of us know. I believe Summer was taken to the place that her father frequented. There is a video of him talking with Cher and Benny Keys, and he talks about how her hair has grown out so much that people wouldn't even recognize her. And to me, that was huge. And that's what I think. And it's because of the words that the dad has said, just like with Sebastian's case, the mother, the father, the words that are said, I honestly believe it. I believe she was the payment and the replacement for what Don Wells took away from that place. Just my opinion, guys.
I don't know, it took us a while. Probably 30 minutes. I don't know. We're not real fast people. We don't.
Okay. Your Tennessee time.
Yeah,
Just sitting on a porch,
chilling.
Drinking some sweet tea and just.
I don't drink tea.
Okay, but chatting around.
Yeah, just chat pretty much. Me and Mom drink Mountain Dew.
Okay.
That's what we do. We drink Mountain Dew. Yeah. And Summer, we got done. We washed our hands real quick. Went in Grandma's house, and she asked Grandma for a piece of candy. She always does. Grandma gives it to her.
Sure.
And she wanted a piece of candy, so Grandma gave it to her. We were sitting there for about, 5-10 minutes maybe at the most. And she was, Mom, I want to go back to the house with my brothers. I was like, all right. So I got up and I walked her back across to where I could literally see her walking to my doorstep.
Okay.
And she
front door, back door?
No, well, I don't know if you want to call it the front door or back door, because I don't really consist which way.
Which door is it? Yeah, and some of the pictures I see, it's.
Okay, just so you know, where she was standing, let's see, Lolly, but dealers won't take a child for no, but he took one of the working girls. And these are the type of people that don't care what age people would pay to be with a young child. And that's all they care about. And that's why I think that was a possibility. But to let everybody know where Summer, Grandma, and her mom are at Mom's and Dad's house, they're at Grandma's camper. Guys, we're talking just a few feet to the doorway. her mother would not have to walk her to the door. They would be able to watch her walk in the front door. They had to take one step. Yes, Miss Kathy, I agree with you. I have both. And as soon as we're through with this, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But I just want everybody to realize Candace is going a little overboard with her parenting tactics here, I think. Just trying to make sure she sounds like a really great mother.
There's a door around the bottom and the back.
Basement door. I call it the kitchen door, is what I call it.
Okay.
And she walked in there, and there's a scaffolding that we have for steps, the yellow or black scaffolding we have for steps. And I put my hand on the scaffold. I said, boys, watch something. I'll be right back. And I had to go over and help Mom. She was still sitting over there. And I had to go and get her knee brace and fix it for her because it was twisted and crap.
Okay.
It took me like 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a time for it. Never have been.
Okay.
And next thing I know, I said, Mom, I'm going back over with the kids, chill and hang out, whatever. And I freaking asked her, Buzz, where'd your sister go? She was just right here with you. But she wanted to go play with her toys downstairs, Mom. I said, I think not. That's where our room is. That's where her toys are.
Okay.
And after about a second, I didn't hear nothing down there. I was like, you sure she went downstairs? They're like, yeah, Mom, she went downstairs.
Okay.
And my boys do not lie to me. So I went around because my stairs, my husband calls it a bar, but it's not really a bar. I call it a mess. We built it over the staircase. I guess you could call it a bar, but it's not really a bar because we don't drink that much. So, but it was like where we put our TV stand, stuff like that. Around because that's where the steps are hidden up underneath there. And I said, Summer. And she didn't answer me. I said, Summer, are you down there? And she didn't answer me. So I ran down the stairs pretty much. I was freaking out. I was like, why is she not answering? And I looked, I just went, I blew up. I went everywhere looking for her. So I couldn't find her nowhere.
Okay. And then what happened?
She was just gone.
Okay.
She was just gone into nowhere.
Gee, she was just poof, gone, right? Where have we heard those words before? You'll hear things, little things that we've heard a lot in Sebastian's case. She's missing, barefooted, wearing no shoes. And poof, she was just gone. It's amazing to me, some of the verbiage that's used by these parents.
And I started tracing the property, going everywhere I could. I sent my boys down through we live on a hill, so it was down by the creek. I sent them all down through there looking and everything. They still didn't fire me. And they said no. So I ran over and I freaked out. I called Donnie because that's what I do automatically. I freak out,
You called Donnie.
I called Donnie. I said, I cannot find Summer. Come home now. He's like, call the cops. So I threw my phone down on the back of his pickup, ran over to Mom, picked up her phone because it's the only one that gets out there is AT&T.
Okay.
So I picked up her phone. I dialed her. I said, I cannot find my daughter.
Okay. Did y'all just hear that? To me, this is a huge. She calls her husband and says, I can't find Summer anywhere. He said, hang up and call 911. So she threw her phone down in the back of her mom's pickup truck, went to her mom and got her mom's phone because her mother's phone is the only one that picks up with AT&T. She could call her husband just fine, but she could not call 911 from her phone. I don't know if it has anything to do with going down the hill or what, but to me, that is a big red flag. And she calls her husband back on Facebook Messenger, supposedly, and they talked the whole way home. But she had to use her mother's phone to call 911.
And they sent people out, and I wasn't just going to stand there and wait for them to send people out.
Right.
I jumped in my mom's truck and I went down the driveway as fast as I could. I went everywhere I could possibly think, every road which way. I didn't see no cars. I didn't see nobody at all. And I was like flipping out. I was a hot mess, so you call it.
Okay.
It's just, it makes no sense. The only thing that can come to my mind is that somebody snuck up there in that yard and took my baby girl.
What are the odds of that?
What are the odds of that?
From your perspective?
It happens all the time, all the way around the world.
I'm not questioning that it happens. In your property, living up there as long as you have, Candace, right? What are the odds that that happened? Take a guess.
50-50.
Okay. What would be the 50% that it didn't happen? What are the other possibilities?
I have no idea.
Okay. Could she have walked away and fallen?
Knowing my daughter?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. What's in your heart today in terms of what gives you hope and what do you hold on to? I mean, you've been around the block a couple of weekends, okay? I mean, so have I. And I think what you're telling me here, I have no reason to disagree with you. You know what I mean? I mean, there's going to be a lot of he said, she said, and and I know, no matter what,
In my heart, I believe, now this is just the way I feel.
I respect that. Totally respect
I
that.
feel that somebody has got her hid out somewhere.
Okay.
And is keeping her away from us.
Help me in your heart.
Okay, first off, I didn't know how many sex offenders lived around me that were only 8 inches from my property.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Right.
And another, my daughter never goes out into the woods because we've taught her there's dangerous snakes, there's bears, there's packs of dogs, there's coyotes, there's everything magical out there in the woods that can hurt you.
Okay.
I've even taught my boys that.
Okay.
And I have never stressed that enough. I tell her that every day.
Right.
And she would never, ever go anywhere than that swing that's on that tree.
Okay. Yeah, tell me.
Okay, she has her swing that hangs from a tree. Her swing. Talking about the swing. Over the time covering this case, we have learned that her brothers said the last time they saw Summer, she was at her swing. The neighbor across the street said the boys told her the last time they saw her, she was at the swing set. There's a bus, an old bus up there on the opposite side of Grandma's camper of the hill. On the other side of that bus is an old rusty swing frame. But her swing on the tree is where she played. By that old swing frame is a trail that leads down to the bottom of their property. So that leaves the question, could someone they knew possibly came up the trail behind that bus and called her over that direction? It could be possible. It very well could be possible, but I don't know. The swing set comes into play quite often. I do not believe that little girl was downstairs in that room by herself. And next time we go over it, we will see the inside of the house, and you'll see that there would be no reason for her to stay down there.
That swing, is that her favorite? I love those videos you put up showing her just having an absolute, that's it, blast.
Stop. Bill,
Um,
I made that cut there because that was Buddy barking in the background, so I couldn't get him to be quiet. That's where that cut came from. There's nothing mysterious about that. Okay, go ahead, Dale. I'm sorry.
what about this call allegedly that Hunter says came in? Well, he said there was a call that Dawn made to you while you were in line at the prescription. Did that happen?
He called me and asked how everything was going
Okay.
and how soon we were going to be home.
Okay. Hunter relates that he mentioned to you that Dawn had said something about somebody around the property. Is that true?
That is so.
Okay.
Sorry to say, but that's a bunch of bullshit.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so where is?
I don't need to get upset, but when something
you're
like that,
here's the good news. Okay. This is your dog.
I know where my husband was.
Okay. But you have every reason. Don't apologize.
No, I'm just.
Okay. Don't apologize.
Me so mad that.
I mean, the fact that you're wearing Mom Patrol.
That somebody could stand there and lie.
People lie.
To law enforcement, to everybody. It makes me so mad that it just makes my blood boil.
Right. So she disappears.
I don't know what else to say.
What are the possibilities in your mind? I know what your heart's saying. Your heart's saying.
Guys, I honestly believe at this point she's stuck on what to say. I believe she knows what happened to Summer and she can't say anything. And she's not sure how to get out of this situation right here.
Saying she's with somebody right now. How would we know how to connect that dot? You and me.
Well, like, for instance, that Dobbs guy that was supposed to be camping across at my neighbor's house.
Right.
He was there that same time. And then Tony Hammonds, whoever the hell he is, he was down through there.
Who was there when you got home?
Okay, Dobbs guy, he bought property across the street from the Wells house. He lived next door to Jody Sue and Andy Bernard. Well, his property was there. He came the day before Summer disappeared. Jody Sue and Andy drove him completely insane because the property lines were not correct according to Jody Sue, and the man left the next day. Or that evening, actually. He wasn't there that night at all. Hammonds that she mentions was found just shortly after Summer was gone. He was face down in a creek. His death, they said, was drug related. I question that. He's connected to a lot of people that play a part in this story.
There was nobody there. There was my mom mentioned the blue van across at my neighbor's house, but I just figured she had company.
Okay.
I didn't know about trying to move in there. I didn't know that at the time.
Okay.
And so I didn't think that. I just figured it was neighbors. I had visitors.
Okay.
You know, I didn't think nothing about that. I gotta stop. I can't read no more. I gotta have a cigarette. Sorry.
Good. Light it up.
I just don't.
Light it up, girl.
I don't want to breathe in.
No. Go blow it. Go. I'm not gonna. Don't worry about me. You should see me drive.
She's trying to get out of this situation. She's cornered, I feel, because he's pushing her on her thoughts and her opinions, and she can't say much more. That's how I feel.
I'm a mess when I drive.
Can't drive a knife.
You got a lot going on, Candace. I respect you. I'm sorry that you're having all this problem. And no matter what we say, you or me, somebody's going to question
Like,
it.
it doesn't matter what I say or do or try to prove to people. Somebody's always going to twist my stuff.
Right.
And for that one woman to go on there that works with Allie, she don't know me and my kids. She don't know what they do every day. Most of my boys right there, they tell you.
I've seen a lot of your pictures.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes. You know what I mean? It that speaks a lot. That says a lot. Nobody's perfect though, right?
No, I'm not perfect.
I'm not perfect by any means, shape, or thought.
Never have been perfect. Never meant to try to be perfect.
And me neither. I mean,
I am a person just like you.
Yep.
Why?
That's right.
That person out there on that jet ski.
That's right.
I'm no different than anybody else.
We all make mistakes. There's no question about that. No question about it.
I can't even enjoy life without my kids.
Help me understand what you mean by that.
Like how these guys are out here having fun with their family and stuff. I can't even go in that water and pretend to even have fun because what's the point? She's not here to enjoy it with.
You know, I lost a son.
Yeah, you were saying that.
I know that hole. I know there's a depth of pain that nobody understands until you have been in that hole. Okay? And
You know, I've been.
I understand that.
Well, once when my mom called me and said that they couldn't find my little sister Rosie.
Okay.
When she disappeared. And that was heartbreaking.
That brings the topic up. Candace has a sister that has been missing since, I believe it was 2018 or 2017, something around that time frame. She disappeared one night. No trace of her has ever been found. And now Candace has a daughter that's just disappeared. What are the odds that two family members have just disappeared with no trace?
But my daughter, that's twice as worse.
Right.
You might as well just rip my chest out, throw it out there for the fish to eat because it's worthless without her. I try to be strong for my boys.
She's crying right now. You can't see it, but she's crying.
I try to have hope.
She'll wipe the tears here in a minute.
I feel like everybody is against me.
It's all right. You wanna rest for a minute? You wanna take a break for a second?
Yes.
Yeah. Take your time. Nobody else is here. They're all gone. Nobody left. You know, the world today is so different than it used to be even 10 years ago because of
Those are not
people can get
crocodile
on
tears.
this little
That was
device.
that was genuine
he's
emotion.
lying, she's lying, he's this, that, and they do it about me too. You're right. It's just so out of control almost.
I've really never seen so much hate in my life until now.
I believe it.
Honestly.
I believe it. Because I think everybody wants to help, but they don't know how to help. So when they hear indiscrepancies, okay, automatically that what is that? Oh man, don't get stung on me now. You'll be blaming me for a bee sting. But they don't know how to help, or they want to help, and then of course there's one discrepancy on YouTube or wherever, and next thing you know it just gets crazy. I mean, I've had people say, "Oh, you paid Hunter to talk to him." Seriously? Am I paying you? No.
I don't want your money.
And I wouldn't offer it. Okay.
I don't want nobody's money.
I'm not here for that.
My daughter.
I'm here for that reason. That's why I'm here. Okay. That is why I'm here. I'm not interfering with the investigators. I'm letting them do.
I'm not neither. I'm going to let them do their job.
I'm let them do their thing.
Do their job.
Let them do their thing.
That's all.
Okay. And you came down here on your own to walk me through this.
Kelly, yes. Mother and father both took a lie detector test. It was inconclusive. They were under the influence of something or another. Mother was too upset. It took weeks for her to get her second one done. According to them, they passed. So I'll just leave it there. Their words. Welcome, everybody that's coming in. Thank y'all for being here. Good to have everyone. Let's finish this up and we'll talk a little bit.
Yes, sir. I credit you for that. I respect you for that. Okay? And somebody's going to find something wrong with it, though. Of course they will. I'm giving you a heads up. Okay?
Oh, I already know this.
All right. I'm just telling you. Okay?
That's how the world is today.
It is. Now, the other side of that, okay, is if there is a suspicious person or somebody like that now you mentioned, or Don, I can't remember in the first interview, Donna had mentioned that on the news, he mentioned that he thought that she was abducted. How did that conclusion come so quickly? Help me understand that.
She never wanders.
Okay.
She always stays right there by the house, right there by the swing.
Okay.
She'll go to grandma's, but she'll be right back to the house.
Okay.
She'll never leave the house. She'll never go out of my sight.
Okay. So what did you tell Dawn at work when you called him?
I just said she was missing. I can't find her. That's all I said.
Do you remember where he was that day? What job site he was on?
I believe he was in Jonesboro at the Meadows, I believe.
Okay, and he's hanging drywall?
No, he's finishing drywall.
Okay, so he's a finisher.
Yeah.
Okay, a taper.
Yep.
Got it. And do you help him?
Well, I tried to help him yesterday, but I just...
Yesterday, was that where you were working? You told me you were working, and you said you were going to go to church.
Yep.
And you went to church.
Yep,
okay. So you did all the things you told me you were going to do. And I got it. Okay, so that all lined up. Okay. And now, when you called him, what was his reaction?
He's like, "What, are you playing with me?" I was like, "No, I'm not playing." He's like, "Call 911," and that's what I did.
Okay.
That was all that was said.
Okay. What was Grandma doing?
Grandma was out hollering for as much as she could. She can't really get down my driveway's horrible.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever been out there.
Grandmother was standing at the top of the hill, looking down, watching the three boys as they were searching the wooded area of their 11-acre property. Someone possibly had just abducted the sister, and the boys were going all about the 11 acres with no concern whatsoever. That to me is another red flag. If someone had taken my child, I would not send out my other children. I would have them locked down tight until I knew exactly what had happened. But that's just my opinion.
I went to your end. I didn't go up.
Right, it's horrible out there. The
Okay.
driveway's now. Every time it rains, all the gravel goes into the creek.
Okay. Is Don home now?
No, he's actually at work.
Okay. Do you think you could show me where she was, where you were, and so we
At
could?
my house?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Is that cool?
That's fine.
Okay. Well, let's head up there.
Okay. So that is the end of that. The next one that we're going to watch will be part 2. It will be at the house. You will see the inside, the outside, the whole property. Oh, I got froze on a very ugly picture here. What is happening? Okay. Anyways, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see the terrain. And after that one, I want to show a video that was put out by another YouTube creator for a while during this case. He drove around and showed the property and showed what the area looks like. It was a very good video, and it gives everybody an idea of what it's like out there. Now, I've given you some opinions that I've had. Thank you. All I need is Jesus. Oh, my face is so puffy and fat. I don't like it anymore. It's part of my kidney issues. But Summer, she didn't have a choice in whatever happened to her, I'm afraid. She's missing. According to them, she just disappeared. They say no, she would never leave that property. No, she wouldn't leave the hill. Thank you. But we have neighbors that have said they've seen her walking around down the road by herself. She's wandered off before. I don't believe she wandered off this time and got lost in the woods. There was a big possibility of that everybody was putting out for a little while. But there was a large search happening. They even flew the helicopter at night that had the heat sensing thing. There would have, at some point, someone would have found her there. I do believe that the law enforcement did not do good enough in the search for her. They searched 4 miles out from around that hill, and that was all. They had people volunteering that were very well educated in search and rescues that they turned away. They didn't allow them to come in. It's a very sad situation. Yes, brown eyes. Same for Sebastian. I'm telling you, going through the Summer Wells case is so similar in so many ways, but yet different. Like I said, I honestly believe Candace loved her kids in the best way she knew how. I believe Don loved his kids, but I believe Don loved his drugs and his women of the night a lot more. Neighbors that live around that area there's a neighbor that had a daughter that was Summer's best friend. We went over part of Marlena's story that she was telling on Prayer Garden's channel. I honestly have found so many flaws in some of the things that she said. She says that area out there is born and they're raised and it's in their genes that you protect your children and you treat your woman with respect. It's not that way. There are so many people that are registered offenders of children that surround 110 Ben Hill area. Over the course of the time that we've all been digging into things, it's very obvious there are tons of people out there that have harmed children. I do not believe they protect their women and protect their children. One man, actually, whose name's been brought up several times, his wife passed away at his hands. I don't think it was a good place to live. It's well known that you don't drive up in there unless you're going to a specific home. Do not pull someone's driveway just to turn around because you're liable to get shot. That is very well known in that area. Yes, Miss Kathy lives not far away, but she knows the area, and she said it's very rough terrain and dangerous, but people that live there know that area. There's trails, there's places they can go to. They know the hills. They've played on the hills as they were kids and growing up. Don and Candace were not from that area. His mother married a man that had property there, and Don acquired the property. But somehow, some way, they began to fit in to a point. People knew who they were. They had parties there. They did the things they did, and in most places, people keep to themselves their thoughts and opinions, but it may have caused Summer Wells to no longer be around. Like I said, we'll get into more of it. I wanted to do this so that you could have a look into what her mother tells us. The area where she was last playing at. That swimming hole, I see pictures of it and my heart breaks because she looked so happy and so innocent. Just playing, being a little kid, jumping around in the creek, basically. And yet, within just a few short hours, her life had changed forever. And we became aware of who Summer Moon Utah Wells was. We're going to continue to stay on this case. I'm going to try and do a live on Tuesday about Summer. Tomorrow we're going to talk about Sebastian. But Tuesday we will watch as they go to the property of where Summer lived. They will go through the home. And if you have not seen that video of the inside of their home, prepare yourself for it because, oh my goodness, it's a way of life that I'm pretty sure most of us would never imagine living in. but it was their way of life. And I try to remind myself not to be so judgmental because it's hard. I would never have my house like that. But some people do. And I've heard throughout the 3.5 years that there are people that have said they've seen much worse out in that area. Hey, YouTuber. And so I try really hard not to be so hard and judgmental, but you'll see that it's hard not to be. Their way of living was very different than what I could ever imagine. There's pictures of these kids. There's videos of these kids. Tons and tons and tons of pictures. They have had many adventures. They've gone places. They've done things. Like I said, most of them, they're free. They're free to go to. They have such great nature around there that there was a lot to go to and see and do and walk and hike and play in the waterfall. What kids get to go to a waterfall and play around in the little puddles? But they did. And like I said, I honestly believe they had a happy life as far as they ever knew they could be happy. It was a way of life for them. And you'll see over time as we go through it how it could have been better for them. But they didn't know any different. I didn't want to jump all over the mom and the father because nobody wants to do that. But it becomes so obvious that just that video, as he's pushing her a little more to think outside the box a little bit on what could possibly have happened, she gets cornered. She gets very uncomfortable. She doesn't want to go through it anymore. It may be part of that wall that she puts up for herself. I don't know. I know this. A 5-year-old girl went missing 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years. And there's no sighting of her whatsoever. There is no evidence whatsoever. The dogs picked up a scent going down the dog trail, and it stops at the end of the driveway at the asphalt of the road. That's it. And so as we continue to go through it all, I hope y'all join me and show support for Summer. Like I said, it's not as big of a case now as what it used to be. Everybody is on Sebastian's case, but I do want to bring Summer back out into the light as much as possible. We need both of these kids to be found. I just realized I still have Sebastian's picture up while we're playing Summer. I got to get my act together. Sorry, guys. Oh, yes, they did. The kids did fun stuff that was free. It just cost gas to get there. And they probably took a sack lunch or something, but they were making memories. And to them, they were living life to the fullest because they didn't know there was anything more than that. And there are people that talk about how bad life was. There's people that will say that the parents did not love them. I honestly believe they did. in the best way they knew how. There is a person that I know, she loved her kids the best way she knew how because her upbringing was absolutely horrible and disgusting, but she did not have that very deep attachment with her kids, but she loved them. And I think that's how it is with these parents here, but I don't know, guys. Summer's missing. Years is way too long. And if we can put some pressure on law enforcement, then maybe they'll start making some progress again. So I'm going to let y'all get out of here. Always remember, we're here for these kids. They're the reason. They need us. And I thank you all for being here. Thank you for the new memberships. Thank you for the super chats. Y'all are amazing. And everybody have a good night. I will be on tomorrow, possibly 3 o'clock. I got to find out what time the ball game is. I have a ball game on Monday and Thursdays this week coming up. So it will either be 3 o'clock or it'll be 4 o'clock. So I love you all. Have a good night. Love and hugs. Bye.